are. How do I change all of this? How do I edit this? Edit. All right, are we live at the moment? Yes, we are. I wish I could see that. I promise I will, as soon as I find my own live, I'll start this presentation. Let's try over here, my channel. Let's try over here, my channel. I found it. All right, now I'm just going to break out the chat room, kids, and then we'll get started. All right. Let's break out the chat room. All right. Traders, can you hear me out there? If you can, please say hello in the YouTube chat room, just to make sure that I am broadcasting and you can hear what I'm saying. You can hear me? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we are good. Let me just make sure I can follow the chat room, and I will present you with a few charts that I have found pretty interesting. All right, so traders, thank you and welcome for joining my live stream. I was sitting here a little while ago and went over a few charts, and I found them very interesting. So I would like to share some of these charts with you that have caught my attention. I appreciate you showing up. I know we're all busy during the day, but let's see if we can get this presented to you. Now, I don't think the camera's going to be on for whatever reason, but you should be able to hear the microphone. And right now you should be looking at quotes. If so, I've got this right, and I want to show you some charts. So we are looking at the NASDAQ daily bar chart. Is that what's before your eyes right now? It should be NASDAQ daily bar chart. What caught my attention was this mess of head and shoulders that has been building up, which is very bearish. It's a head and shoulders formation. Left shoulder is built, the head absolute, the right shoulder is just about finished, and exactly where it should happen, which is below the 50 bar moving average. You see the two shoulders? It's exactly what you'd expect if it's a real head and shoulders. So I looked at that and went, okay, that is an absolute formation. Let's go look elsewhere. So, of course, we go to the weekly to see what's going on with the weekly, and we've got an issue, kids. I showed you this chart in many videos leading right up to the day that it went here. And in every video I said, look, we've got to be careful because NASDAQ, interestingly enough, never gets below the 200 bar moving average. This is the COVID drop. I kid you not. This is the drop during COVID. NASDAQ did not get below the 200 bar moving average at all, ever, until 2008. It's the only time it's ever been below. 2008 is the only time you will see NASDAQ below the 200 bar moving average on a weekly. Well, we've spent a lot of time below that, and look at the failure right here at the top of the channel. And we are back below the 200 bar moving average. And that, my friends, is terrible looking. Let me blow it up for you a little bit. Look, below the average, failed to get to the trend line. That, my friends, is a signal, an ugly signal. So you've got the daily NASDAQ not looking so pretty. You've got the weekly absolutely telling you that we are heading down. There's no question here of where we're going. Now it's going to be how far. So let's go look at a few more charts that confirm this. Let's go look at, let's say, the E-mini S&P, even the NASDAQ. We'll start with the NASDAQ. Oh, we did that already, so go with E-mini S&P. E-mini S&P, you've got the same issue, same problem, failure. Algorithms were waiting for it to get to the 200 bar moving average where they came in and crushed it. Failure back below the 200, back below the 50. Failure at the 200, to be honest, and back below the 50. This, my friends, is a terrible sign, especially for us short-term traders. So down it does want to go. Joe, I will answer your questions in just a moment. I wanted to show you a few charts, and then any questions that you have in the chat room, please type them, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. So, looking at the E-mini S&P, NASDAQ weekly, NASDAQ daily, E-mini S&P daily, if we go around the horn, we've got trouble everywhere. Look at the transportation average. Now, you remember I was showing you this chart when it was going to create the golden cross, and it did get created. Boo-hoo, yay, we made the golden cross, and it went up. But it only went up to those resistance lines we had sitting here waiting the whole time. Now, you might recognize the market gets up to that resistance and cracks. Gets up to the resistance and breaks. Gets up to the resistance and breaks. Gets up to the resistance and breaks big time. Then it makes a nice run, does a golden cross. What's it do? Fails at the resistance. Right back down we go. So that is not a good sign. That is our leader. Dow Jones Transportation Average, it's leading us back down again. Let's hope somehow it picks up. But for now, we're short-term traders. We follow the short-term signals. That's telling us it wants to go lower. Traders, I've got an OMNI boot camp where I will teach you the art of Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator, the OMNI. That's Feb 2nd through 6th, but time is ticking. If you want to go, you got to come out to Vegas to join me. You're going to have to fill out your applications as soon as possible. You can just go to OMNI Bootcamp and fill out your applications right there. OMNIBootcamp.com. Fill out your applications. I'll be more than happy to qualify you, but time is ticking. If you want to learn this from me in person, you're going to have to fill out your applications and contact me. Let's move forward. So, the Golden Cross did take place, but it may uncross. Let's see. We'll give it some time. I do not like the failures at the resistance up here. The OMNI has turned red. The markets look like they want to get slammed, and let's go look at more of them. So we've seen NASDAQ weekly, NASDAQ daily, E-mini S&P daily, transportation average daily. I also showed you something that was right at the cusp of giving us a signal. If it gets above, good signal. If it fails, more bearish signal, and that was NVIDIA. If you remember in my last video, I brought up NVIDIA to show you that it was in a very important spot, and lo and behold, look what NVIDIA did. Failed as it was expected to fail at the resistance, heading back to the 200. Now, generally, you get above the 200 to hit the resistance, and right back down you go. You got above the 200 ball moving average, you hit the resistance, right back down we're going. So everything that we looked at the other night is absolutely pointing to those sell signals I was telling you about in the video 2 nights ago. They're absolutely happening before our eyes. So I wanted to present those charts to you. I also mentioned Bitcoin. So let's go take a quick look at that. In my last video, I mentioned Bitcoin, and here it is. Still looking good, believe it or not. Above the 100 moving average, above the 50 ball moving average, below the 200, but broke out above, which I love to see, this basically descending wedge, if you will. Broke out above it, that's this green thing. Got out above that and is looking pretty smart right here. So you gotta like Bitcoin. Ethereum looks the same. I think we're January on Ethereum right now. Let's go look. Yes, January would be the one. Interesting look, huh? So Ethereum, and there should be a label for it in here somewhere. Let's see if I can find my label. All right, Ethereum, so that you know what we're looking at. You see this trend line from the all-time highs of Ethereum to here? Well, let's blow it up a little bit. And look at how we got above. How nice is that? We got above that trend line. See? Broke out. Then got above average 1, got above average 2, heading to average 3. Not bad in Ethereum either, just like Bitcoin. And I think one of the last charts I wanted to make sure we looked at together was the dollar index, which is creating so much of this issue that we're seeing right now. The dollar is dropping. As you can see, since this crossover period where it used to be a very bullish, strong, happy dollar, had the crossover period and started a bearish channel, making it a not so happy dollar. The dollar dropping makes the price of everything else more expensive. The materials that we use to create products get more expensive. If those products get more expensive, it weighs on stock companies' bottom lines. The dollar's creating a lot of what we're seeing right now, as everything in the world practically is priced in US dollars. So this is one of the reasons for the decline. Let's go back now to the chart that started this all. And if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to take them. Joe, you had a question earlier. Is that double bottom instead? Head and shoulders are usually at tops, no? Is it a double bottom? Well, sure could be. But I think you're forgetting where the NASDAQ is right now. Let's see. Let me show you this NASDAQ in a continuous, Joe. Here, wait. Let's make this a continuous chart. The NASDAQ is not very high, to be honest. I mean, it might seem high looking at this chart, but if we can get enough bars in here, let's go to a weekly. Maybe that'll help us. If we can get enough bars in here, you'll recognize that the NASDAQ isn't very high. It's at its highs, coming down. Right? The lows in NASDAQ, look how far back you got to go. I mean, it just goes down forever. If you go backwards, it's been going up forever. We are very high, Joe. We're not low, creating this head and shoulders. Interesting, right? That's your weekly NASDAQ. If I didn't mention, traders, this is a very, very risky game. Let's talk about that for a moment. This is a very risky game. You should never, ever trade without stops. Put your stops in first. They will protect you when the markets go against you and you freeze, which happens to a lot of people. So make sure you got your stops in. And this chart happens to be the NASDAQ weekly continuous. All right. So, and again, below the 200 scares me, kids, but that head and shoulders is forming at the highs, Joe, not at the lows. Look, this is all the high area right here. What about the FTSE? Yes, it made historical new highs. Problem is, U.S. machines don't allow us to bring up the FTSE anymore. I can't even bring it up for you. I follow it, but I can't bring it up on my machine. Okay, any other questions? Any questions, please type them in the chat room. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Typos are included. Then typos are free on, I guess today's Wednesday? I never know what day it is. What's today? It's Thursday. See, told you I didn't know what day it was. What do I think about Netflix? There's a question. Let's go find out. Oh, let's get out of the weekly, by the way, and get back to the daily and get out of the continuous because there's nothing on there to look at. No continuation. All right, so now we want Netflix. I'll tell you what, it's been looking really good lately. Netflix, you got to give it credit for what it's doing here. I've actually got a pretty nicely drawn up chart in Netflix. I just don't know what number chart it's on, so we'll just redraw this one. But this is looking good. Look at this nice run it's been on. We're going to make these green because there's no reason to keep them red. It's a nice run. This, by the way, is Netflix Daily. So looking at this, you are above the 50-ball moving average. You're above the 200. You're in a nice, smart channel, and that channel is now starting to get even smarter. Look at this. Now it's starting to move up even tighter. So you can get rid of the bigger channel, and that's the channel that we're in. It is moving up nicely. And if you look at the whole channel from the bottom, look at this whole thing. This is not bad. This is a very, very nice move that we're seeing so far in Netflix. It broke out of what that was and now has moved up into another channel. So, hey, rock and roll Netflix. We'll take that. I think you can buy the dips, but I wouldn't buy a dip unless it got down here. As you can see with Netflix, by the way, gets through the 50-bar moving average and holds the support. So if it does it again, I think that's where you would attempt to buy if you were going to attempt anything. Then, of course, you've got one more channel to keep an eye on, which would be the simplest channel that we can find. That's right here. And there should be another channel bar to that. So you've also got this channel that you got to keep in mind. It's a little bit bigger and should point us up higher. So it's kind of in 3 different channels right now. I like the short-term channel best, and we'll go from there. So yeah, you can buy the dips, but you got to let it dip, Netflix. It's not the best stock in town. Are we looking at GC? Any ideas? Well, let's go look at the GC chart. We'll start with that. Here's gold. Gold has been on a tear. Gold looks fantastic. Every now and then it's going to have some pullback days. But gold itself looks fantastic here. And it's creating another upward channel. Look at this channel it's starting to build. Look at that. This thing wants to go. Now, at the same time, remember, gold is priced in dollars, right? So let's go look at that chart. You've got gold on one side of a teeter-totter or seesaw, dollars on the other. As dollars continue to drop, gold continues to rally. That's what happens when something is priced in dollars and the dollar drops. Now, dollar is dropping, clearly, and gold is rising from it. So right off the bat, because of the dollar, you just have to like gold. No question, you can't fight it. You've got to like gold because of the dollar. Back to gold. You see the channel it's in. It's above the 200-bar moving average. It's building a bull flag. It kind of looks fantastic. Now, the other thing gold just did was this. Being that you've asked me about gold, I kind of keep my eyes on it. It had 2 days down. 2 days down. 1 day only. 1 day only. 1 day only. 1 day only. 2 days down. You don't want to be short gold. Does that answer your question? Scott's wondering if NASDAQ breaks further, where does it go? So let's go back to the NASDAQ weekly for that. If NASDAQ breaks further, well, right off the bat, you know what we can do? We can do a very simple projection. Top, bottom of the channel. Top, bottom. Top, bottom down here somewhere. Easily 8,000, 8,200, somewhere around there if we continue in this channel. Of course, you are going to find support along the way. Simple things. Algorithms know that this exists. I promise you, algorithms know that there's a trend line right here. I promise you this. Whether you think they do or not, I've been on Wall Street for 42 years. Algorithms know that we've got a support line here. I'll make it green for now. They will absolutely challenge that. So that brings NASDAQ down to the 10,800 area, 850. You break that, you start falling apart. So I think that, of course, we'll remove the support for now because we're not there. And we'll let this do what it's doing, but it sure did fail, which is giving Wall Street reason to want to be short this thing. Do I see next support at 38.56? All right, so I had support today. I wrote it down. Let's go back to ES. I actually wrote down my support today in ES. Yes, you see these trend lines? I was drawing simple trend lines to show us where we should go next, and you should end up at around 38.50-ish. Very nice. Oh, your trader dads. Hey, Scott, thank you. Thank you for paying attention on Twitter. And I thank you for, why don't you join my trading room? It's absolutely free. Just go to livewithoscar.com and hop in. And where that chat room went, I'll never find it now. Oh, there it is. All right. Any other questions, kids? Let's see. Is there anything else? You got to watch this. Bonds. That's it. Check this out. We should continue to go higher if bonds continue to do what they're doing. I think it's 14, 16 maybe. Yes. If bonds continue to do what they're doing, we should at least get to, well, we almost got there, to my 134.23 area. But let me show you bonds a different way. This chart, I can't even bring everything on this chart into focus anymore. I've been using it for so long. So let me show you a different one. Bonds, 30-year. Interest rates are dropping, kids. We have been in an upward trajectory channel, literally, since November. Up we go. These are interest rates dropping. I don't care what the Fed says. Your eyes tell you what's going on. Yes, the Fed's raising rates. Traders are making them drop by rallying the bond market. This is the bond market, and this works basically the same way on a teeter-totter. Here's how this works. All right, so if you've got bonds on a teeter-totter, which we'll draw right now. I'm not the best artist, kids, but I'll do what I can. Now, if you got bonds and the ZN and notes, right? You got bonds and notes. And let's say they're on this side of the teeter-totter. Well, on the other side, you've got interest rates. What happens is this. Well, I'm sorry, that looks so ugly. Let me put that all on one line. I don't like the way that looks. All right, that's better. So you got interest rates on one side, bonds on the other, and this is what you get. If bonds go up, interest rates go down. It is how it works, kids. It's absolute, unequivocal. That's the way the bond market works. If the bond market goes up, interest rates go down. Bond market has been going up. Why? Right here, they stopped doing 50 basis points. And here, they started doing 25s. So as soon as the Fed said they would stop doing 50 basis point rate hikes, the market reacted immediately. Then it said we're going down to 25, and the reaction starts again. That's what you're getting from bonds. We're actually starting to see rates drop. How cool is that? Well, maybe double top. I don't know. Let's see what happens. You know, here's the thing, Shari, with bonds. They're not controlled by us traders. They are literally controlled by the Fed. If the Fed decides to sneeze, it doesn't matter what your chart looks like. The chart will be wrong if the Fed sneezes in the wrong direction. So bonds are something that when you trade them, you get in, you get out, you stay away till the next technical setup, because it does not matter what we do or how good it looks. If the Fed decides it's going down today, it's going down today. If the Fed decides it's going up today, it's going up today. You just happen to have made the right chart call on the right day. That makes it a little bit risky because the chart call that should work might not work because an entity's too big in that market. That's why we stay out of bonds, kids. We're too small to fight the Fed, so we don't trade bonds. Anything else? Any other questions? If you have them, please type them in the chat room. I'll be more than happy to go over a chart and show them to you. All right, so if we're not asking questions, I will just do my thing. I love looking at charts. Let's just go look around the horn and see what's out there. Let's go see what Amazon did. Amazon. Is RTY different than NQ? Sure, I'll go to RTY in a moment. Amazon's getting ready to fall back down below that resistance, which is a shame because it got above, which was kind of looking all right. But Unlike some of the other charts we looked at, Amazon is in a downward spiral trajectory, not upward. So I can't say I love this chart at all. I think it's bad looking, and that is Amazon. I don't like the way that looks. I think it's heading right back down into this channel and into the abyss. So Dana wanted to know about RTY, huh? Here's your Russell. And no different. Russell looks just as bad because you never actually had the golden cross, failed miserably at resistance, and is now getting ready to break this whole area where we got the 50 and the 200. So I think that looks terrible. And unlike gold, which after 2 days down heads back up, you got 2 days down here, you got 3 or 4, you know what I'm saying? It does more than 2 days in a row. So you can count on the Russell probably dropping again tomorrow. Last night you went short ZB at the 132.22 area overall. You did well trading bonds. It was the first futures contract I traded with your room. Interesting, Sherry. What's my take on INTC and AMD? Well, they're not doing as well as NVIDIA, but they're doing all right. Let's go look. Not as well as NVIDIA, right? It's a chip sector, so you got to assume that they kind of travel together. This one I just pulled up was, let's make sure I get the stock right. It is INTC. So INTC's daily bar, doing quick analysis, you're back below the 50 ball moving average. You do have this that you're getting back below, but you did get above it for now. You are above it. There's a little bit of hope there. And then if we wanted to look at slightly longer term view, it's got a little bit of room. Let's make that one green. I'm just doing simple trend line analysis for you. So there is room. If you can hold right here, which I'll give you a price. If we hold right here around the 2830 area, 2820, 2830, you should end up somewhere around 32. Bouncing between the resistance and support. You get below, you end up down here, which puts us at around 2566. So let's hope it holds. The market's going down, so expecting a stock to hold doesn't make sense. But hey, let's give it a shot. You never know. And then look at the major trend line from the top, all-time high. Simple analysis. You are above that right now, right? You could cut it here, or you can put it right there. You can even put it here. I'd put it there, connecting this high to that high. And we are above that too. So INTC, not so bad. And AMD, I wouldn't imagine is any better. AMD's worse. I don't like the look of AMD. This, not a good looking chart to me. If you put a gun to my head, I'd take NVIDIA over this mess. Although I wouldn't want any of them. All right, so you are below resistance. You are below the average. It's an ugly looking formation. I don't like AMD. All right. What's my opinion on euro, huh? Well, we got corn here as well. Let's take a look. Hold on. So, you want to look at silver, corn, and euro? Easy enough. Silver? Boy, oh boy. The dog of all metals. This is silver on a daily. Actually, I might have it drawn up elsewhere. Let's go here. Silver was probably drawn up right here. Guess not. I didn't save before, so all my stuff is not drawn up. Huh, there you go. All right, so this has at least some artwork on it. This was the channel. The channel started to expand, but now I don't know what to call it. I don't know if we're in the channel anymore. Let's see if the top bar fits. Not really. We'll base this channel. We'll draw a new channel. We'll base it on the top. And we'll say that this is the only channel that we can identify at the moment. I don't like that even slightly. Let's get rid of it. And let's concentrate on this piece right here, because we are shorter term traders. So let's concentrate on this short term piece. All right, so let's see what we got going on here. This is the top of your channel, obviously, right? It's all the bars. This is the bottom of your channel. That is a big F flag, which is bullish. Bullish. I guess might as well make that green, huh? Red doesn't make sense there. And you wanted to look at US dollars, huh? I mean, euro. That's the 6E. And once again, sitting in a wonderful Oscarism known as an F flag and just running in that F flag. Just looks great. This is euro. And of course, if the dollar looks bad, the euro looks good. $6EH on this machine, yes. So, your euro currency daily in what I call an Oscarism known as the F flag. I'll show you why. So we're in something called an F flag, which is a broken or backwards flag, right? It shouldn't look like this. There's something wrong with this flag. Took me a long time to figure out what it was, and it's called the Oscarism known as an F flag. And why I say that is because a bull flag is supposed to look like this. Right? That's supposed to be a bullish looking flag. But this one, instead, goes like that. That's an F flag, an Oscarism I created called the F flag. And we can stay in that F flag for quite some time, and you got a little bull flag building right here inside the F flag. And I like euro. I think euro is bullish too. Anything else? Thomas says we don't trade oils. Is something moving? You know, any oil company gets the oil out of the ground for, I don't know, $18 to $35, whatever their number is. Maybe some of them are stupid and pay $45. Oil companies. And what do? They get to sell it at $80 on the open market to jerks like us. Stay out of crude, I promise you. You do not belong there. You cannot afford to trade people with other entities that get it out of the ground at a fixed price, and you're paying $80 and hoping you're right. Don't bother trading with them. They've got you beat as soon as it comes out of the ground. Thank you, crypto. So just because you mentioned crude, and I think Feb expires today, so we can still use Feb. In the crude oil, yes. What we need is this to continue forever. See this? We need that to continue forever. Just keep going down. It just needs to go down further. Now it is below this average. It is kind of manipulated, right? Literally, it's manipulated by many things. Literally down to the president who wants the price to go higher for his friends overseas. I know I'm saying something that shouldn't come out of my mouth, but that's the way the world works today, and that's what it is. So our president wants the price of oil higher so Venezuela and countries like that can make money on it while it cripples us. But at least we have been going down for some time. And let's hope it just keeps going. Now, you will notice that if you could get crude to this level, if you could get crude to break down again, anywhere under here, the stock market starts to go higher. You just got to get it to break. What happens is every time it starts and the stock market starts to go, it recovers, and the stock market ends up down. Now, I have proven to everyone, I don't care if you believe me or not, it does not matter to me. I am much better than you at this. I am telling you now the price of 77 is a crossover in crude. I proved it to everybody month after month. If you can get below 77 and stay there for a week or so, the price of the stock market starts to go higher every time. That's what I'll tell you about crude. Don't trade it. Watch what it does around the 77 level. It's not an exact spot. You hit 77, it doesn't create a trigger. Once below 77 and it starts to push lower, the stock market starts to answer and recover. So that's what I can tell you about crude. Right now, looks a little bit bullish for short term, but at least we're in this longer term channel moving down because it beats the crap out of the opposite alternative, which was this long channel moving up, right? At least we're not there anymore. At least now we're in the downward swing. So if it continues, maybe by summertime, it'll be in the 60s, 50s, and that will really help the stock market. Anybody else? You want me to look at FTCH. All right, we'll start there. FTCH. Can we find it? I will tell you, I've never looked at this stock before. Whatever it is, I don't know. Yeah, it showed up. Oh, I have looked at it. I've got stuff on it. I don't remember ever looking at this chart. Quiet down, yeah. FTCH. Nothing. I have nothing to say. Nothing. I wouldn't waste my time analyzing a $5 stock. I don't want to be part of it. I can't count on anything it's going to do. And if it does move, what's it going to move today? 50 cents? You know what I mean? It's nothing to do in that stock. Stay away. If you own it, sorry to hear that. I wouldn't own it. All right. What else do we have? Pins. What's PINS? I don't even know what that is. You guys are bringing up stuff I've never heard of. What is that? All right, at least it's got a little more substance to it than that last crappy looking stock. I don't like the way this looks either. I wouldn't bother trading this stock. It's had too many gaps. But it does have channels. You can see them. They jump right out at you. It does have an upward trajectory channel. I'm not going to complain about that. I don't say I love the chart, but another one I won't bother wasting my time on. It's just not something I would trade. Riot. Oh, we haven't seen Riot in a while. Let's bring that sucker up. Just basically just going through the chat room and whatever questions you have, I'm bringing out. So Riot's another one that failed, just like the stock market failed, in a miserable spot. Nothing but downside potential on this one. I don't see any upside potential. All right, you got that. I don't know. There's nothing here. I don't like the way it's never got to the 50 ball moving average. It's a really cheap stock, nothing I would really analyze, so we'll leave it alone. Ah, we could do Tesla. Now that's better. When intraday, what's the best time frame to trade on? I will answer that very easily, Nathan. Daily. Anything else? I won't bother trading anything smaller than a daily because how many choices do I need to make in one day if the market's going to go up or down? How many times should I have to reanalyze during the day what I've already looked at a daily? Daily tells me we're going down. That's it. We're going down. I put up a 5-minute chart. How many times a day do I have to reassess that foot? I don't go near it. It's for crazy people. Just stay away from small-time charts. You'll think a lot less, I promise you. Natural gas could be in a reversal soon, huh? Let's go look, Marie. It's ENGG23. That can't be it. That's too many letters. Let's see what happens. I guess that's it. Whew. Okay. I wouldn't buy that with my enemy's money. Don't buy a falling knife. So. Oh, I'm sorry. That's let me fix my typo there, kids. And this should be red anyway. What you should be saying to yourself is this. Repeat this to yourself over and over. If you would, I think it will help you. To you, Marie. Another typo. Give me a break. All right. Repeat this over and over again. Sell rallies in a bear market. The trend is your friend. Don't buy this. Why would you buy that? I mean, you know, that's kind of like standing in front of a speeding car and hoping it stops before it hits you. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go near it. And this is natural gas. And it's Feb. Natural gas Feb. Yeah, so ugly, ugly, ugly. Even on the weekly, it's going to be ugly. Natural gas Feb on the weekly is just as ugly as the daily. And even if you wanted to find the double bottom, you got to go all the way to 140 to find the double bottom. So, Marie, be careful. Don't buy a falling knife. Anybody else? Anything else? I'm more than happy to go over this. DXY is on the right way, Thomas. Yeah, it sure is. The DX is pushing down, which removes some inflation, as long as it doesn't go too far. I skipped Tesla. Thank you. Let's move to another chart. I may have Tesla drawn up somewhere. Ah, yes. So Tesla basically tried to get out of this channel. Did yesterday, but it's getting back into the channel today. Here's what I would do with Tesla, honestly. Wait 2 days and watch. Watch this channel. If you get back in the channel, you're a seller. If you can get above the channel, you might as well buy it, right? Expecting the 50-bar moving average next. So, but this is usually the fate. And we just got there. So that's what I would do on Tesla. And then, of course, if back in the channel, go short. If it gets back into the channel, in my opinion, technically, you can short Tesla if you get back into this channel. And the reason why is because if you get back into that channel, it starts to break this channel. You know what I'm saying? So if you get back down there, you got a problem. Grains, not much lately. Can I get the DAX on here? It could be called FDAX. Let me look. Is it FDAX? Let's try it again. FDAX. No, it's not going to show up that way either. I don't think my machine will let me pull it up. We'll do a quick search though. Let's try DAX. Nothing there. Let's do a quick search and see if somehow we can get it to show up. Change instrument. Can we get to DAX? Indices. Name. Doesn't have name on there, so I'm gonna have to just type DAX and see what happens. I'll try with the F. Yeah, I can't help you out on DAX. I don't know why it won't show up here. No. Not showing up in the financials. It doesn't show up anywhere. So I can't bring up DAX on this machine. Same thing with FTSE. They kind of stopped us from doing that a few years ago. I don't know why. How's Ford Motors looking? All right, so Neil, let me do grains first, and then we'll look at Ford Motors. Grains, there's really nothing there lately. Let's go with ZCH. There's nothing to play with in the grains lately. This is corn. All right, so just nothing for me to do. I've been keeping my eyes on the grains, but not really finding a lot to play with. So I've just been leaving it alone. It's hovering around the 200, right? Above, below, above, below, above, below. Nothing really, no real signals there. Soybeans. I've been waiting for this for quite some time, just silently. I haven't really mentioned it yet because we're not there, but I've been waiting for this. Once we get up there, we'll talk about it. Double top coming in soybeans, and then there's wheat on the downside. Watch how wheat's exactly opposite of this. Look at a wheat chart. Terrible looking. And I think this channel has expanded, so let's delete channel and bring up a new one. And it's got to be a little tighter than that. Let's go from this high to this high. And there you have it. That's your channel. And now that it built a channel, check this out. You can get short wheat. Watch. You got a flag here. Look. Pole, flag, rock and roll. Inside of a channel? Oh my God, wheat's gonna get killed. There you go, Neil. You got something to play with. And the Ford Motors, right? I believe that's just F, if I remember right. Yuck. Stay away. Nasty looking chart. Yuck. It's just all over the place. I'm glad I don't own a company with a stock chart that looks like this. All right. So you got this going on too. Look. Wham. You got, well, actually, you can make it a little tighter now, right? We can also bring one in from here. And then you've got this whole bottom piece. Yuck, that is just ugly looking. Down you go in Ford. Bearish. Woohoo. All right. Can I help you with any other charts, kids? Someday we buy Tesla car, huh? You'd be able to get them for like $20 if this keeps up. Sorry, Dano. No dig on Tesla at all. Keto. Yep. It's coming. It's making a comeback though, silver. All right. So, is there anything else particularly I wanted to show you before we clean up this mess? You know, Ponzi, I stay away from it. It just makes too many people panic. I mean, I look at the VIX from time to time. I mostly stay away from it. Let's see if I have it up on any of my machines here. Maybe VIX is here somewhere. Let me look. I definitely have it. I just don't know which chart it's saved under. VIX, 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 VIX. Come on now. VIV. Nah, this machine won't pull up VIX. I usually watch it on a different machine. As far as I'm concerned, though, I know VIX was low, really low for the last few days, and it finally started to pop a little. You know, one of the things I've stayed away from is gamblers markets. I've never, ever subscribed to those 2x, 3x ETFs. I don't trade the VIX. There's too many gamblers in there. You know, you got to stay away from the markets where gamblers get brought into. And anytime they have over leverage, 2-time, 3-time, anything of that nonsense, anytime they give you cheap margins, it's always a gimmick, that market. You don't want to be in a market like that. You just want to follow it. So me, I follow the VIX. I don't do anything with it. I don't mess with the options. I don't get long or short it. Let's kind of gauge it when it's overbought or oversold. I keep it in mind. That's why you don't see it on my... I couldn't pull it up because I really don't care about it. You know, EVs are going to change, right? Because if we can make a change like this happen, you'll see. Everything's going to change. Check this out. Move over Elon Musk. Shooting for the stars, this weekend's paper. On December 2nd in 2022, in Yuma, Arizona, a 54-foot-long cannon fired a hydrogen-fueled projectile into the stratosphere. It took 10 minutes. That's it. Barely any fuel used at all. They shot a projectile into the stratosphere, into outer space in 10 minutes. And here's what they say. Let me just read it verbatim. I'll skip most of the stuff. The company says the system, which generates no carbon emissions whatsoever, can easily scale up to a Mach 20. Your satellites and supplies can be in orbit in 10 minutes from you ordering them, said Green Launch, the co-founder Eric Robertson. We can launch every 60 to 90 minutes. This will enable us to have next day air satellite delivery to space. How cool is that? How sick is that? Bravo to innovation. So Elon Musk, move over. You taught us how to make a rocket go up and come back down and use it. These guys can send the rocket up in 10 minutes and it'll set itself in space. How about that? You will be able to go to Japan. You take 9 minutes to get you to Japan like that. It's all going to happen for us. Pretty cool, isn't that? Most exciting thing I read in the papers this weekend. That I thought was super cool when I read about it. They can't back to the moon. They can't get back to the moon, huh? Hey, there are people that think the world's flat too, you know. There are people that think we never got to the moon. So, whatever. I assure you that this company is not making believe. All right. So, kids, I think unless you've got other charts you want me to pull, well, first let's go look at where the markets are because I haven't been looking at them in the last 20 minutes. A little bit of a rally. little bit of rally in the metals, a little bit of a rally off the lows in the E-mini S&P. It's only 130. Anything can happen. Let's see if any stocks have moved. Not watching the stocks. CMG, $13 move. Chipotle. All right, so let me do this then. Let me do this and say thank you all for attending. And we'll knock that down a little bit. All right, traders, thank you so much for attending. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. I will leave this out live for you to see if you want to repeat it. And you can always find me in my live trading room. You know how easy that is. Literally, the trading room looks like this. I'm live on camera and microphone in here all the time. So please just go to livewithoscar.com. You know, create a membership and come join me. You'll click chat live with Oscar and you'll be with me just like that in a live trading room. Make sure you show up. Thank you for attending. And I will see you all in my